All right, folks, back with Unbound and Eberg, starting on page 28. For the second time, because the first time I did this, I was not recording, so fun. When Mama sees me, she drags me to the wash barn and dumps water on my head. All my beautiful brown disappears in skinny little rivers, what look like tears. Mama scrubs till my skin's pale as a brown bat's belly. "Why'd the good Lord make my skin so light?" I cry. "Grace," Mama says, "this here's the skin the good Lord gave you. You's insulting the good Lord to try to change it." I'm only 9 years old, but I'm old enough to wonder why the good Lord paints children different colors from they mama, making 'em look so that they stolen, making them feel shamed of their own skin. Dirt runs into my eyes, and I holler. Mama hushes me. "Grace, try to understand. Master Allen say he owns us. We got to do what he wants, or somebody'll get a whipping, maybe even worse." "Don't seem fair," I say. Mama's voice grows soft, like when she's telling her nighttime stories about resting in the arms of angels. "The good Lord sure is weeping at the way his children is being treated," she says. "But for now, there's nothing we can do." My writiness bubbles inside of me. "Don't the good Lord make day and night?" I ask. "Don't the good Lord make the giant trees round the big house? Don't the good Lord make thunder so loud it shakes the earth?" I forget all about the pain in my eye. "Don't the good Lord have more power than Master Allen?" Mama spins me around so fast I nearly fall in the mud. "You keep them thoughts bound up tight inside you," she says, "or you'll be sent away, farther away than any big house." "I promise," I say, feeling prickles scratch my throat. That night, Mama makes me sit by my rag bed and repeat all my promises. "And you have to keep 'em," she says, "'cause the good Lord and his angels is watching, and if you break a promise, they'll know that you can't be trusted." Uncle Jim's working outside, and I hear his deep voice singing soft to the heavens. Mama tells Thomas and Willie I'm going to the big house early in the morning, before anyone wakes. Say folks in the big house need someone strong and brave and smart. Willie toddles over to me, even though he's too young to understand what Mama has said. Thomas crawls after him, and I hug 'em both at the same time, lifting 'em each a little off the ground. Kissing they curls like I sometimes do, and making soft gibbery sounds just to hear 'em laugh. Only this time, all my silly snuffles get stuck inside my throat. Aunt Sarah puts down her mending and leads the boys to their sleeping corner. "You's not going far, Grace," she whispers to me. "Be brave." Her eyes squint with a warning. "And remember what I said." Mama tears a narrow strip of cloth from the hem of her dress, and she kneels beside me. She ties the frayed ribbon around my bare ankle. "May the good Lord and his angels keep watch over my baby," she says. And then she looks at me with watery eyes. "My sweet Grace," she says, "you's tied to my heart forever." I throw my arms around her and make myself a promise to never take off her ribbon and to keep my mouth shut. Early the next morning, Uncle Jim walks with me past the row of cabins what's been my home forever, and up the big hill what's spotted with tiny flowers. At the top of the hill, we stop under a giant elm. Uncle Jim stoops down, his eyes right cross from my eyes, and his hand curves around my face. "Your mama told me the thoughts that are running circles in your head, Grace. They's dangerous thoughts, and you best keep 'em to yourself." "Mama already told me that," I say, but as soon as the words pop out, I'm sorry. Uncle Jim's hand is rough as tree bark, but his voice is gentle as the barn swallow. "I's meaning it, Gracie. Keep 'em thoughts to yourself, or you'll be bringing us all a whole lot of trouble and pain. And your mama's heart would break if Master sent you away. All our hearts would break." He smooths my hair and makes his voice real low. "You gotta keep your thoughts tucked private in your mind, where white folks won't find 'em, Why? I got skin as pale as any white folk. I heard Mama say so herself. It's my light skin what got me called to the big house. Uncle Jim shakes his head. It don't matter what color the good Lord painted you, he says. You know what the law says, that you's brown, same as your mama. The law's got a problem seeing what's right in front of its face, I think. But this time I say nothing and we keep walking to the big house, what's on the other side of the hill. Aside of the big house is a covered walkway with a cabin attached. A woman older than Mama, but not as old as Aunt Sarah and twice as wide, stands waiting outside. Uncle Jim nods at her. Tempy, this here's our Grace. Gracie, this is Aunt Tempy. The woman smiles. Hello, Grace. Last time I saw you, you was no bigger than a pitcher plant. She looks at Uncle Jim. Time passes. That it does, Tempy. Too quick or too slow. I best get back. He looks at me with sorrowful eyes and touches my face. Remember what we talked about, Gracie. I nod, and I will my tears from falling. A heavy grievance sags inside of me, and my thoughts leap to tumble around. Uncle Jim and Mama is just down the hill. And if I got sent away, I might never see Mama or Aunt Sarah, Uncle Jim, or the boys ever again. Mama was younger than me the last time she saw her Mama. Come inside, Grace. Aunt Tempy's voice is, deep and scratchy. I guess I better change my voice for her. Come inside, Grace. Aunt Tempy's voice is deep and scratchy, like she got prickles sitting in her throat, too. Still, it's a voice with kindness in it, what makes me feel safe. We step into the cabin. A huge fireplace stretches from one corner to the other. The sun's not even up yet, but a big black pot hangs over a fire, what's lighting the room and warming it like midday. Already a tray of biscuits sits in a turtle-shaped hole on the wall. Aunt Tempy spreads her arms. This here's our kitchen, Grace. We mostly been working in here. In the middle of the room is a big table what holds a basket of strawberries and a covered tub. Giant spoons and buckets hang from the ceiling, and rows of chairs set against the wall. Aunt Tempy sniffs the biscuits and nods for me to follow her through a small door what don't close all the way. I can really picture that room in my head. This room looks like our cabin, except it's smaller, and it has a wooden floor. In the corner, there's a small table what's got a basket and with some sewing on it, a chair, a footstool, and a tiny fireplace, what don't look big enough to warm but a fly. This is where we sleep, Aunt Tempy says. A gown hangs on the back of the door, and another smaller gown is draped over the chair. A bunch more baskets is piled in the corner, and another gown is draped across a narrow wooden bed. That must belong to Aunt Tempy. She pulls a pallet from under the bed. This for you, she says. The cabin gets even smaller, and all my readiness shrinks into a mournful sadness. A pallet is like, kind of like a thin, rugged, homemade mattress. All right, babies, I gotta go get you all from steam. To be continued.